Alright guys, we're back again. Whoa, look, Jake's wearing the same thing from last time. Is he recording in the same space at the same time, just with his glasses on? Yes, I am. So in today's video, I want to talk about the Pokemon DLC, the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. This is going to be pretty brief. I really enjoyed it. The second half. The first half was a little more lame, in my opinion. I want to lean back a little bit. The first half, which is, I think it's the Teal Mask. The Teal Mask, I didn't really enjoy it as a whole lot. It just felt like I was running around kind of doing side quests to get Ogerpon and to fight the loyal, or the loyal 3, whatever they're called. I guess you can go back and catch them, but I haven't done that yet. So yeah, the Ogerpon stuff, okay, here's the thing. I don't use legendaries. I think legendaries kind of act as like either deities or minor deities, and so for a 10-year-old to put them on their team, to me just kind of feels disingenuous in the sense of like, these are my Pokemon that I have raised, and they're powerful because of the way that I've trained them, right? So for me to use like Mewtwo or Ogerpon or Kyogre or any just random legendary, in my head it's just like, well, here's my auto win, which, guess what? Is very true in the VGC. Do you know how strong legendaries are in VGC and competitive Pokemon? Insanely strong. Kyogre has been relevant for almost 10 years now. Do you understand that? The format of Pokemon battles has revolved around Kyogre for almost 10 years now. And the way that the VGC kind of gets around it is like, when they make a new game, they don't allow, well, nowadays this is true, they don't allow older Pokemon to come in until a different tier, if that makes sense, or format. So it's like for the first year that Scarlet and Violet was out, transferable Pokemon weren't allowed. But then after that year, so then the meta builds, right? The meta builds solely within Scarlet and Violet, which in my opinion is great because you're using Pokemon exclusive to Scarlet and Violet. Granted, I do think you ought to have access to older Pokemon. I just don't really care for legendaries. So then when they allow transferable Pokemon to be in VGC and to be in the new game, then they dominate the format for so long. This has nothing to do with the DLC, but all that to say, I don't care about legendaries. So to me, the appeal of DLCs revolving around legendaries, it just isn't there for me because I'm not there for the deities, for the legendaries or anything else, right? So Ogerpon and the story revolving getting Ogerpon on your team, I really didn't like because I didn't want Ogerpon. The other Kieran, whatever his name is, desperately, he idolized this Pokemon because he related to it on a personal level. I feel that. Yeah, sure. Like, you have a Pokemon that its mythology is very symbolic to your personality, or you just really like the way it looks and you dress the way that it dresses or whatever, right? I get that. I get wanting to be relatable to a Pokemon. Ogerpon choosing me as a player just because I really didn't like. Because it's like, as a player, I have no interest in Ogerpon. So I would like, it's like how in most other games, you can choose whether or not to kill the legendary or to catch it, right? I feel like I should have been given the option of giving Kieran Ogerpon. Or, in the DLC, like how I can now trade with old gym leaders and champions and stuff, I would like to give him Ogerpon. I don't care about Ogerpon. Now, that said, because I got Ogerpon, the Indigo disc exists. And the Indigo disc is amazing. Gameplay-wise, well, yeah, I mean, like, just the DLC in general is almost perfect. Like, the only thing I don't like, I really don't like the disingenuous idea of making a biome and then having split biomes. It feels very disingenuous and fake to me. It's like a glorified zoo, which is fine, but it's just like, I would rather explore a region or a location where this is genuine, where this is like a real, like, freak of nature multi-biome kind of place. For it to be man-made is kind of boring to me. That's the only thing I don't like about Indigo Disc, and that's not even a big deal, right? But all of the battles, being double battles and competitive battles, I really enjoyed. And Kieran's kind of character arc that he goes through is sad, because he was he was very isolated, and he was bullied by his sister. He gets the chance of really doing something of his own, of catching Ogerpon, of seeing a Pokemon that can really resonate and well, yeah, just resonate with him, and the Pokemon denies him. Is heartbreaking. That is a heartbreaking story. So then he goes on this whole thing about wanting to be the strongest, and he becomes the strongest in a very scary sense. He becomes the bully to other people, which character arc wise is phenomenal. Like, I love Kieran's story in that character arc. I don't like the fact, in retrospect, it's really cool. I just wish that if Kieran had to not receive Ogerpon for all this to happen, I really wish it wasn't me, right? It would be hilarious if I just released Ogerpon, right? Like, that's kind of the sad reality of Kieran's kind of arc, in the sense of it really hinges on the player wanting Ogerpon or feeling more connected to Ogerpon. Because from where I'm sitting, I feel really bad for Kieran, because I was forced to get something that I didn't want that he desperately did. And if I had it my way, I'd give it to him. But for players, maybe you're one of these people. For players who also really wanted Ogerpon and got Ogerpon, you may not necessarily feel bad for Kieran. Like, you may just be like, oh, sorry, man. Like, I got Ogerpon. So then when Kieran goes on his whole, like, Indigo Disc arc, when he becomes the strongest and he wants to battle and stuff, it's almost like he's throwing a tantrum, which is true from my perspective anyways, or it can be true. But because I don't want Ogerpon anyways, it's more sad, I think, because you see Kieran go down this spiral, personality-wise, and he's destroying himself and his relationships with those around him, all for something that I would have given him if I had quite literally the chance or ability to do so. Yeah, anyways, Indigo Disc, gameplay-wise, phenomenal. I didn't lose a battle, but there were several close calls. And it came down to, like, a couple of, like, those 100 base power, 120 base power, 30, 70% accuracy kind of moves. That's what some of my battles came down to. Or, like, them missing their move. Another thing which has kind of been, like, a sad thing in Pokemon more recently, like, since X and Y or Sun and Moon, is that when your Pokemon get hit, especially by, like, a super effective move, they can just live on 1 HP. I had an Annihilate that is, like, my bulkiest Pokemon that was on 1 HP during the Indigo Disc DLC, and it would just tank hit after hit after hit. I mean, I've built it very defensively, and it wears the Assault Vest, but there were multiple times where it was on 1 HP, and I got hit by another move, or I was poisoned, and he just shrugs it off. He's like, nope, not poisoned anymore. Or, I'm already at 1 HP, you're going to hit me with a ×4 super effective move. Actually, that's not possible. With a ×2 super effective move, I'm still at 1 HP, it just didn't do anything. So, like, that, I mean, like, I won because I never died, but it felt kind of like, well, my Pokemon just care more, I guess. Like, so, yeah, I did kind of... It's very like Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuji, or Yuta and Yuji versus Sukuna, we cheated kind of thing. Spoilers, by the way, sorry. Yeah. Anyways, so Indigo Disc is phenomenal. I really don't like Teal Mask as far as, like, the story and stuff goes, and gameplay wise, I guess it's fine. Like, there's not a whole lot that happens. It's just defeating the loyal 3, which was pretty easy to do. I still don't know what types they are. I realized that they're all poison, psychic, or dark, so I just brought Pokemon that could either stall them out or hit them super effectively. And then, what else was there? And then, the epilogue. The epilogue was really cool. I really did love the ending. With Petrarunt, I think is how you say it. I really liked Petrarunt, and I liked how Kieran. You kind of still get to see Kieran after the Indigo disc, and you see how he's still not quite who he used to be during the Teal Mask, but he's not who he is in Indigo disc anymore either. He went in Teal Mask, he was the extreme of like very isolated, very reclusive character, and in Indigo disc he was this very aggressive one. So by the epilogue, you see him having this awkward middle, where personality-wise, he's in the middle now, but he feels a little awkward about it, because he's like, well, I don't know whether to be really aggressive, because I'm a strong trainer, or really shy and timid, because that's just who I've been for the longest time, right? So, I really like Kieran as a character. Well, I love him in general. I feel really bad about the fact that I couldn't give him Ogerpon. What else? But yeah, the epilogue was really cool. Seeing the original Scarlet and Violet cast of characters, Nimona, Arven, and Penny, interacting with Kieran and his older sister is a lot of fun and really cool too. I would have liked to kind of like see the battle between Nimona and Kieran, because Kieran just says, "Oh, she mopped the floor with me," and part of me is going, did she? Really? Anyways. Yeah, so that's Pokemon DLC. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. Honestly, I would have been down for more Scarlet and Violet DLC, but it's February, which means Pokemon Day is coming up, which means we're probably going to get some kind of announcement or remake or spin-off of something. So this is the end of the video for the Pokemon DLC kind of stuff, but I do briefly want to talk about moving forward. Let's look at the options. Pokemon remakes. A bunch of people think Black and White's getting remade. Black and White were games that I never really liked. I didn't like the Pokemon designs, and I didn't really like I don't really care for New York as like a style of a city. Black and White made it feel very grunge, which I'm just not a huge, I guess, kind of fan of, or like the style that they portrayed New York in felt very, I guess, grunge, and that wasn't for me. I liked Black and White 2 a lot more, largely because of the fact that it had returning Pokemon in it. I don't like the Black and White starters at all. I don't. When I was little, I had Tepig, just process of elimination, and got Emboar. Really didn't like Emboar. And then I grew up, and I started liking Duat a lot. But I hate Samurott. So Serperior is just horrible. So yeah, there's not a whole lot for me to like regarding Unova. There's individual Pokemon in Unova that I really love, like Haxorus, Darmanitan, Conkeldurr, Golurk, Simisage, and so like Galvantula, Volcarona. Yeah, there's a lot of individual Pokemon I really like. It's just I don't like the story is cool. I don't like other Pokemon designs, the ones that you see a lot more frequently. I don't like the starters. And then I don't really care for their portrayal of New York. I love Black and White and Black and White 2, just Gen 5. I love the sprite animation stuff. So that was another thing that I really liked about Gen 5 that probably won't be replicated in 3D. Obviously it won't be replicated in 3D. So there's not a whole lot for me of wanting a Black and White remake or a Black and White 3 or anything like that. I have very little interest in anything really remotely related to Black and White. Especially, I think too, what puts a bad taste in my mouth is going from Diamond and Pearl, anime-wise, to then Black and White. I just didn't care for it. Black and White acted as a soft reboot in 2010 from all avenues. From anime, from the games, and I think even the TCG kind of got a reboot a little bit too. I mean, the TCG always reboots, but yeah. So Black and White, very sad taste in my mouth. We're probably gonna get a Black and White remake. I don't care for it though. I would prefer, if we got anything related to Black and White, I would prefer it be like a Let's Go Kyurem. Or not Let's Go Kyurem, sorry, a Legends Kyurem. And the reason why is because, similar to X and Y, Black and White hasn't really tapped into the whole like true dragon thing of Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. Black and White 2 with the DNA splicers gives you Kyurem Black and Kyurem White. But the fusion of those two monsters, or all three of them, being Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom, is the original true dragon. So I would be fine with the Legends Kyurem if it does kind of that whole lore exploratory thing, where it does more of that. Because like that, I'm interested in. I just don't care for the individual Pokemon or the environment really. So maybe I'll like it more in 3D. Probably not. Especially if it has more Unova Pokemon in it. What I would like to see, and we're probably not getting, is a Let's Go Celebi. I would love Let's Go Celebi, especially if they do the whole Isekai thing, or Isekai, where it's like, boom, this is a character from another timeline who's been sent to the past or to the present or future. Celebi is literally the time-traveling Pokemon. It makes just as much sense for Arceus to do it as Celebi, right? To do the whole Isekai thing. Especially, too, coming right out of Scarlet and Violet, the games that revolve so much around time. Like, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. Let's Go Celebi, or not Let's Go Celebi. Legends Celebi is what I want. I want a Legends Celebi. I've heard some rumors about, like, a Johto Let's Go game. No. I don't really care for the Let's Go format. Not a fan of it. I don't care. I guess Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did give us Megas on Switches on a Switch, which is cool. But if we get another Let's Go game, it probably won't have Megas. If it does have Megas, then like maybe they'll add Z moves. Maybe the Let's Go games are a way of revisiting old regions with the Go mechanics and trying to keep in older battle mechanics or gimmicks, like Mega Evolutions. Like, maybe the next one might have Z moves if they do Johto or something. I don't know. But yeah, what I want is Legends Celebi. I don't care for a Unova game, and we're not getting Gen 10. So, yeah. Spin-off-wise, I don't know what to expect. Probably Cafe Remix for the 100th and gajillionth time. But there's all that. So, anyways, guys, thanks for listening to me rant about Pokemon Day stuff that, I don't know, may or may not happen, and DLC review. So, anyways, guys, this is Jake, logging out. Peace.